Hello everyone. I wanted to make this video because I get a lot of comments in my PC benchmark videos asking me why I get such high frames per seconds in most games and why similar or equivalent PCs are underperforming compared to mine. So this video is just to walk you through my window configuration and why I chose to set what each setting does and why I chose those settings, right? Or why my PC is set up the way it's set up. Um, so the first thing I want to say is there are two things that I do always whenever I build a new PC. I always overclock my CPU and I overclock my GPU. And to add to that, the third option is I always install a fresh Windows operating system, right? Now, I want to touch on these three components here. Um, Windows, in my opinion, is a bloated operating system. Um, I at least compared to Mac OS and Linux, it's an OS that I find myself reinstalling a fresh install, and I recommend this every 6 months, right? Because sometimes I notice that if you go a long period of time without doing a fresh install of Windows, you may incur performance issues in a lot of games, right? I've noticed in some games that I play, I've noticed upwards of 10 or more FPS just by doing a clean install of Windows, everything else staying the same, right? So as I mentioned, it's a bloated operating system, and I recommend uh, having a clean install of Windows if you're building a brand new PC, or if you've had your PC for a long period of time. As far as overclocking the CPUs and GPUs, um, I've been overclocking. I've been a PC gamer now for roughly 15 years, and I can assure you, I know people, a lot of PC gamers, especially new PC gamers, are hesitant overclocking. Well, first of all, they don't know how to do so, and second of all, they don't know how to overclock, and second of all, they're afraid of damaging their PC, which I understand to an extent. But I can certainly assure you, as a PC gamer now for roughly 15, almost 15 years, I've overclocked all my PCs, and I've owned many PCs over the years, right? Going as far back as my first PC, which comprised of an i5 Intel i5 2500K and a GTX 560 Ti. Yes, that's how far back my PC dates. Um, and I remember I had my 2500K set to 4.5 gigahertz and my GTX 560 Ti overclocked, right? So, I've never had any damaged machine as a result of overclocking. So moving on. With that said, uh, two other things that I want to mention. So once you do that, you want to go into the Windows settings and you want to turn on game mode, turn that to on, and hardware accelerated GPU scheduling, you want to set that to on as well, right? Um, so without further ado, let's get this party started. So the first thing you want to do is you want to download this tool called uh, Unparked CPU cores. Sometimes it's called that, but I believe it's called Managed Parked CPUs, right? Now, when you do a clean install of Windows, or you basically reinstall Windows, your status is always going to show parked, right? So what you want to do is you want to check your status. So if your status shows parked, you want to click this button that says unparked, right? The reason for all this is because you want to free up as much of your cores and CPU threads for gaming rather than bloated Windows background task. So that's why I recommend using this tool. The next thing you want to do is in the Windows settings, you want to search for core isolation. If you do not see this option, um, go into the BIOS and search for virtualization. Set that to turn that to on, reboot, and go back into Windows. You should be able to see this option now. You want to set the memory integrity to off. And most importantly, this settings. I have a an NVIDIA RTX 2080 Super GPU. So even if you're rocking a GeForce GTX or RTX card, your uh, your NVIDIA control panel should look identical to mine, right? So you want to go under the manage. You want to go into the manage 3D settings page, and there are several options you need to tweak, you need to configure. So the first thing is low latency mode. I always set that to off. The reason for that is because in games, I notice all these input lag tools or anti-lag tools, such as Reflex, uh, incurs performance issues in games. Right? I play a lot of games, and whenever I turn that on, I notice micro stuttering, and I notice lower performance as opposed to having that option on. So I always turn off Reflex. Uh, and the same thing is applicable here with this low latency mode. You want to turn that to off because there's a lot of driver overhead as a result of using all these input lag reduction algorithms. And next thing you want to keep in mind is power management mode. Set that to prefer maximum mode. Um, you don't want to use adaptive or the default driver recommended optimal power. You want to use have your GPU and your system overall just running at peak performance, right? The next thing you want to do is shader cache. Now, this is something that if you're a PC gamer, you certainly run into, especially if you play Unreal Engine games. Uh, you notice a lot of micro stuttering as a result of shader issues. Uh, and this is also an issue with DirectX 12, right? To an extent, it was also an issue with DirectX 11. Um, but yeah, I recommend setting that to unlimited. I believe that should be it. I'm going to scroll and threaded optimization. Set that to on. I'll turn off triple buffering. Turn off vertical sync. Um, and so I'm just going to scroll, just do a scroll slowly back to the top so you can see all the settings that I'm using. So your settings should be identical to what I'm currently using. All right, moving on. Now, if you've done all that, you want to have this tool handy, right? This tool downloaded and installed to your PC. It's called Display Driver Uninstaller. Now, if you're going from, let's say, AMD to NVIDIA, or vice versa, NVIDIA to AMD, or whatever brand you're switching from, right? Or if you're even going from, a GPU to another GPU of, within the same brand, right? You want to do a clean install of your graphics driver, right? So what I recommend is under select a device type, select GPU, and do a clean and shutdown, right? This will, clean out your all graphics drivers from your hard drive, and you can do a fresh install of a newer, more stable driver. So that's pretty much it. If there's anything that I forgot to include in this video, I will update in the description or in the comment section. Uh, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the comment section. I will try to post the specs of my PC and link my overclock videos to this video, or either put that in the description. So yeah, feel free to reach out. Let me know if you have any question. Thanks for watching. Take care.